this game ends up going the distance here. Simply the incoming. Welcome to Catalina, ladies and gentlemen, and spawning in the 9 o'clock position as the blue Zerg player. Despite losing a silly number of units to Widow Mines towards the end of that game, just kept flooding in, true to the swarm. He plays for Root Gaming and is an incredibly strong Zerg. He needs one more win to get to the semi-finals. His name is Hydra. His opponent spawning over here in the 5 o'clock position as the red Terran player. One of the strongest foreign Terrans in the world. Currently 1 game down, has to win the next 2 to progress, but he certainly can do it. Let's find out if he will. It's Major. Alright. So, let's see if anything absolutely ultra aggressive comes up from these players in Game 2. Doesn't look like it so far. Barracks being produced in a not right outside your natural expansion kind of location here for Major. And of course, that's because his opponent can spawn in one of 2 locations. On Catalina, you would tend to plonk them down in the middle of the map. So, just a very straight up opener here. Now, Major, I mean, he's played against world-class opponents many times before. He's been to and played in Korea as well. There's absolutely no reason for him to panic and go into ultra-aggressive mode. But he's also very good at those aggressive games as well. So he's just a very versatile player here. Hydra, though, what a solid game number 1. I mean, there are very few things you can actually fault with his play, aside from potentially splitting against Widow Mines in the second to last engagement, by which point he had a commanding lead anyway. There wasn't really that much we could realistically point to in that game and go, yeah, we definitely could have seen some improvement here. There just wasn't, ladies and gents. He had a very solid, very, very good game. And if he can keep that up, and Major doesn't sort of raise that level, then we might well just see a 2-0 here for Hydra, but there's a lot to be said between now and the conclusion of this game. SCV Scout up here will be able to spot absolutely nada. And he will know that his opponent therefore has spawned in the 9 o'clock position. See, not even bothering to see the base. As long as there's no creep here, that's good enough for him. And now we have the first Reaper moving in towards the main base location. He won't be able to get there before the Queen hatches. So that's the disadvantage of not scouting your opponent first. But there's the Queen, boom, basically at the same time as the Reaper gets there. And, oh, he might actually be able to get a drone as well. No, not quite. And that drone not even becoming a Spore Crawler, just being very, very economical with this. The Queen trying to protect her brood as much as she can and is doing a great job of it so far. But will the Reaper come in for a round 2 and pick off that juicy drone? Here we go. Fred the drone, ladies and gents, is on 7 hit points. And there's the anti-Fred. There's the Hunter. Here's the Reaper. The Overlord sees him coming in. Where's the Queen going to be getting into position? Fred is looking a little bit nervous. And, oh God, Bob has brought his friend John. And together, they're hunting Fred. Oh, never mind. Unfortunately, Mary's brought her sister Jane. And, well, that's going to be that. Sorry, boys. No party today. In the meantime, we have a couple of Zerglings just being a little bit annoying, trying to kill off the SCV on the command center. 1 killed so far this game by Hydra, so he basically was able to get one of them, and the replacement will be able to work in peace. In the meantime, we have John and Bob trying their best to attack the natural expansion. Mary and Jane have decided to split up. They've gone to 1 base each at the moment, but it looks like so far they can hold... Oh my God, John and Bob are joined by Tim. And all of a sudden, this is like a frat party, ladies and gents. Oh, pass me the beers, let's go. Oh, hang on a second. Is that Tim? Anyway, someone has had too much to drink and is going to have to retreat there. But basically, we have retreated without any major casualties thus far. What's the situation looking like? It's 1 worker killed to 0. The worker count is 32 to 23 in favor of Root's Hydra. We do, however, have that double mule incoming and a very quick 3rd command center coming out of Major. So he's looking to try and squeeze in a mid-game economic lead here. We are, of course, only at the 6-minute and 30-second mark. And, we have an armory incoming, ladies and gentlemen. We could be seeing a hell-bat push coming here in game number 2. Those double Hellions are on their way. We have Marines coming in as well. And, oh, this Overlord from Hydra also spots that this is a possibility now. Really, really nicely played there. And, well, we're just going to be seeing defenses necessary. We can see the two queens out the front, just trying to put as much creep down as possible. Defending those tumors as well, just wanting to make sure that they can't go down without a scan. We have the Hellions and the Reapers sort of moving back and forth, trying to gauge what the position is looking like. And the safety spine coming in from Hydra as the layer finishes. Now up to taking all 4 of his gases. Let's see what he does potentially in response to this instant Spire as soon as the layer finishes. Time is of the essence now. He needs to be able to get this up very, very quickly indeed. The armory is now up, so potential for this Hellbat push is going to start very, very shortly indeed. He's also got Stim on the way, about halfway through. So just under 100 in-game seconds left, and we have, by the looks of things, the first little skirmish. 3 Reapers and 4 Hellbats going to try and pick apart this Spine Crawler. First one is going to go down. We have 2 more Hellbats joining the fray here, but unfortunately for our Terran hero, Hydra, with transfuses, is able to make the safety Spine Crawler count, and these queens don't even need to go out this far. They're actually okay. He's pushing the army as far off of creep as possible right now, but he doesn't need to if he doesn't feel like it. All he needs to do right now is not die and potentially protect a third as well. And I think this base, oh, there we go. In fact, the drone's already on the way, is being lined up to be taken. So, ooh, needs to be careful. Doesn't actually get the creep tumor as well. Oh, he does, though, after targeting that queen. So a really nice bit of thinking coming out of there from Major. Oh, and these Zerglings surrounding a lot of these Hellions. Just about able to get away, but 2 of them go down. A third, possibly a 4th, might go down as well. A lot of firepower on both sides, but these Zerglings are really seizing the initiative, and any potential sort of game-ending death push from Major has just suffered a catastrophic setback. I don't think that's going to be on the cards anymore, unfortunately. And we have, well, we are actually transitioning into macro, because we have the double engineering bay going down. He's getting those 1-1 upgrades. Presume we're going to see a couple more barracks go down. There we go. 4 and 5 coming down now as well. And he's transitioning into a similar mid-game that we saw last time. And this is actually all fine from the Terran player. The only thing that isn't fine is that the fact that the army died has meant that Hydra can take this base basically without worrying about it getting harassed, and potentially even take this as an aggressive 4th, or up here if he really wants to. Major doesn't have any map presence right now, and these mutas are going to start dictating the pace of the game very, very similarly to how we saw before. Major needs to think about how he's going to break out of this situation here. That is his challenge for this game. And Hydra, in the meantime, he's just going to say, well, I have mutas now. They bought me enough time last game that I was comfortably on 4 base, and I could then just Zerg swarm it up. And he eventually, I mean, it did take a while because Major's a really good player, but when he won, he did win pretty comfortably. So Major has to think of a way to deal with this situation differently this time around, and losing a couple of SDVs en route to the 3rd is not going to be his way of doing that. I mean, look at the ground distance for those Marines between the natural expansion and the 3rd base. It's a long, long way. And Hydra now, well, he's going to be able to harass the 3rd, potentially move into the main as well and pick off a missile turret if he is so inclined. Reasonably easily here, and Major has to find a way to do some harassment damage. He needs to get some damage done and say, you're not the only player that can harass, because otherwise, this 4th base, he's going to get up for free, and Hydra's just going to have the time of his life as far as macro is concerned. That's not what he wants right now. Definitely not from Major's point of view, anyway. So that's his challenge this game. Major, I mean, he's sitting really solid, actually. He's got missile turrets up at his bases. He's getting a bunker up at this 3rd, recognizing it's a little bit more open than on other maps as well. Doing a really, really good job of that so far. And he's on 123 versus 125 supply, so signs point to fantastic signs of life from the Terran, but this could potentially change things if we get a lot of good Baneling hits there. Good pickups onto the medevacs, but oh, one of them going down. Is the second medevac going down as well? Yes, it is. Most of the Marines survive. Really nice positioning there from Major in the end. Good star sense, able to move these Marines up here, because frankly, the Banelings would have just absolutely decimated them on the low ground. However, losing those medevacs is going to hurt a bit, and he sees there is a sizable Zerg army here, basically following him around. Oh, he's going to lose these medevacs as well to the Mutalist. That is not good news. Oh, really good burrow there on the Widow Mines. They might be able to get some purchase. Yes, they do. Wow. Good hit there on the Mutalist, and actually both the medevacs just about surviving. Just about... oh, Oh, hang on a second, and these SCVs do not look like they're very healthy at all. There's even a Baneling area, and Hydra's saying, actually, I can just go after these SCVs. You're running away from your army right now. I'm not too worried about that, and that might be a bit too much of a blow. That really is a bit of a blunder coming out from Major, unfortunately. There was nowhere for his SCVs to run, and when he picked a direction, it was further away from his army as he would have liked. So it's now 52 to 77 workers, both sides on 3 bases, with a +1 here from Hydra that's just beginning to get saturated. 24 workers killed to 0. And I have to say, Hydra now has an advantage in game number 2 as well. And his creep, once again, absolutely magnificent. We're coming up to the 15-minute mark now, as opposed to the 12-minute mark last game. But Catalina is a bit of a bigger map, and he is starting to overwhelm the octopus here. So, doing quite a good job. Now, what can Major do in response? Well, we want to try and make some drops work, to be honest. He needs to get some counter damage down. He needs to pick off some hatcheries. And the way to do that, we want to be sending Marines out all over the map. I mean, look at this vision from Hydra. Look at that. Look at where the overlords are. He can see absolutely everything that's happening everywhere. So he knows the drops are coming before they even basically get halfway there. What he really needs to do, I think, is maybe use a couple of Marines, maybe a Viking, to start clearing some of those overlords so that his drops come as a surprise to the Root Zerg player. Now, he's done actually a good job here of distracting his opponent long enough that he might be able to try and pick off the Spire, but no, the presence of Baneling says no to that. And Major right now getting the Spire to about 40% health. Hydra's going to be wary of that. He has to be slightly careful. Another drop being loaded up and moving up here, but look at how many overlords are here spotting for it. There is no chance that's going through undetected. And, well, this medevac, I mean, wow, that just didn't get seen. I mean, those guys were pretty close, man. And this is going to be running straight through the field of vision of all of these overlords. I'd love if Major just killed off some of these overlords, because Hydra basically constantly has just absolutely huge advance notice of where these attacks are coming from. And as a result, Major can't really get any good damage done. And that's a little bit sucky for him here. And it looks like that's actually going to be enough. If I return to the game for just a second, another drop just got cleaned up over here, by the way. So the GG comes out from Major, and Root Hydra, ladies and gentlemen, progresses to the semi-finals of the Gfinity £100 Sunday Cup by a scoreline of 2-0 over Major. Impressive stuff.